Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another decent deck profile, and this time what I'll be covering is Drajewel. So I haven't been covering any Drajewel build before because I was not a Dark States main, and when I get my splits I always not the person who grabbed that. So I don't have a lot of cards, and which will also be like showing you in this build that is the reason why I'm getting this. Like from reasons 3 to 4 sets, I've been getting the Dark State splits outside from my usual case break. So, because another friend is playing Dark State, so he got that, and then when I need the cards, I go in to buy them, right? So, I get my stuff, and then when I see that I don't need a lot of old stuff to just make this deck, then I just go in, and this is relating to grade 4. And this is also one reason why I want to do this profile, not because only that I have the cards, but I want to show people how easy it is to get this deck done if you have, say, just the split of Dark States of DPT 13, what you're missing, right? So this deck will be focusing on that. So we are trying to make it easy, even though the split, if when it release in English, is probably will still be very high, and in JP is probably also very high. But if you can just get the split when release while it's kind of still cheap or cheaper, not exactly very cheap because the split is actually quite expensive, but if you get that and you are looking to go into Drajewel, kind of like me, who have not been getting Dark States splits for every single set, but want to play Ignis, then that's probably how you can go for it. Yeah, so let's go into the deck profile immediately. Now, right line is just the Drajewel right line, so that's a few ways you can get the grade 0 to 2. One is to buy the starter, and the other way is to get it from the festival collection as a common, which is what I did, because I've been cracking quite a few festival collection myself, especially during my trip to Japan. So I already got the cards, so it's quite easy to just grab them out. And the Drajewel is the first thing that you need to pay your money for outside of the DPT Freddy split, because if these are commons, it's probably quite easy to just grab them somewhere, or even if you're going to a shop to find those, it's easy, right? If not, you can just buy a starter. But the Drajewel is something that you need to pay money for. The reason I have my Drajewel is because I want to be like kind of anime accurate with my brew stack, so I just bought one to chuck it in like what Danji did, and then since we just need one for this deck, that's the perfect fit for me. So yeah, so far you still have to use this right line, because this Drajewel will be considered as a very key component when you're playing the grade 4 deck. And then this right line is just the best for you to just get prepared, soul charge as much as you can, draw your cards as much as you can, and that's basically it. Some people would change this grade 0 to something that they like, so it's up to you. But I just pick something that is more fit to the deck theme, and that's how we go. Alright, now first thing, of course, we have our grade 4 right here, Demonic Jewel True Dragon Drajeweled Ignis. So this grade 4 card is not appeared in anime and probably will not ever be appeared on anime, unfortunately, because Overdress is kind of ended and we are going to another title. I'm not sure if the old people will still be appearing or not. I haven't checked that the newest information yet, so yeah, I don't know about that. But it's a dream card, so it's like if Drajewel actually get more updates other than the mask, this is what happens. And this card is just amazing if you can reach there. Okay, so let's talk about this card. First is like all grade 4s that you can only be right on the specific grade 3s. And then second skill, at the beginning of your battle phase, choose 2 cards from your drop and put them into your soul. And then if your soul has 4 or more cards with different grades, all your front row will get plus 15k until the end of the turn. And it just apply on the spot. So if you changed another unit up there, then that unit will lost the 15k plus. And you don't need to worry about not having all the grades after you get the 15k because it's already applied. So this is a good thing. It's greater than personal right because personal right only plus 10, and you get to just put 2 cards from the drop zone into yourself for free. That to a lot of people is really what's saving us, because sometimes you are just missing specific pieces, and there you go. And the easiest thing is to have grade 0, 1, 2, 3. Then you already have 4 grades, right? Yeah. And then the first skill is when this ability cost will be paid. A card with Drajeweled Ignis card name in your soul may be Soul Blast as any grade from 0 to 4. And then when this unit attacks, Soul Blast 5 cards with different grades, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Retire all of your opponent's backward regards until end of turn. This unit get plus 1 crit and increase or decrease the power of all of your opponent's front row units to 0. So instead of becoming 1, now they all become 0, and you get to wipe your opponent's back row. Sometimes the back rows are what makes those specific decks annoying, and you can get to wipe them off just by using this skill. And the Drajeweled here is considered as any grade 0 missing. So if you don't have a grade 4, this can be a grade 4. And what you need is just another grade 3 and a Soul Blast, the whole right line plus a grade 3. That's all you need. And it's quite easy to actually achieve, and sometimes you can even just put in a grade 4 and you don't need to worry about that. But it's Soul Blast 5, so you do need to always check your soul as you always play with Drajeweled, that you kind of always prepare to get the 5 grades every single time to Soul Blast. That I think is very, very key. Also, turning your opponents to 0 is very important, especially in current meta, where a lot of decks are fighting very fast, but at the same time, if they get too much defensive, you can't actually punch them over, even you get plus 15k. But with this, this deck is probably the only deck that can allow you to still strike your opponents when they hit OT. Because a lot of times when they hit OT, they get 100 million. What you can do is to try to find the OT yourself, so that you can also get the number and back to normal calculation, right? But then with Drajeweled, you have a chance to attack your opponents 2 times or maybe 1 time, and then turn them back to 0 if they get to 100 million, and then to hit them a lot harder, right? So this is what this deck is good at, and you get the triple drive, so you always have a chance to get a lot of cards in your hand to survive for the turn, and then build it up again, do your board wipe again, and strike again, right? But the weak point about this deck is before you get a grade 4, you're kind of weak. Even when you go on Drajeweled, it's just turning your opponents to 1 while you're still at 13, so it's not something that cannot be guarded. Because worst of the worst, they can just drop you a 15k shield, say 1 pass, and you check nothing, and that's it, right? But then with Ignis, you get the plus 15k to the front row, basically happening every single turn. As long as you keep building up, this deck can just do a lot of good punches that your opponent's simply just not that easy to survive. Now, another card from the set, Soul Funeral Dragon Nostalgia. So this is a grade 4 support that we have for every single nation, and what he does is when this unit is placed on Reguard Circle or put on Guardian Circle, choose up to 1 grade 4 card from your hand and reveal it if you review a card or your Vanguard is a grade 4, perform one of the following according to the circle this unit is on. So if it's a regular circle, you can counterblast one, draw a card, and choose 2 cards from the drop and put it into your soul, which is very important when you're like, especially when you are on your first Drajewed turn while you are missing a grade 3, and you have already ditched a grade 3 to a drop zone, which is relating to another skill of this later that we'll talk about, then you'll get the grade 3s. If this card is in Guardian Circle, this unit will get shield plus 15 until end of the battle. So it's kind of like a trigger card. So sometimes you save your life. It's a grade 3 with shield value. And then when this card is discarded from hand while riding a grade 3 from your ride deck or paying the cost per stride, you can draw a card. So this is always the card that you would like to ditch to use your ride deck when you go into your Drajewed, so that you can draw a card. And from here you get a soul charge and draw a card. So you already like kind of not only do a no cost exchange, you draw one card back so you don't lose anything, and then you draw more cards. So from there you are starting to build up a big hand to start surviving, because your Drajewed can counterblast 1, soul charge 2. If those 2 cards with different grades, you get to draw another card. Yeah, so that's already really great. And if you have this also using on the right deck and then you use this on the field, as regular circle show your opponent's a grade 4, you get to draw another card. To play 1, you just counterblast 1 and then you draw a card back. So your hand size still didn't change, and you get to put 2 cards from the drop to your soul. So it's easier for your Drajewed to just go in, turn your opponents to 1, and you hit them hard, right? So this card has multiple functions and it's helping the deck a lot. And this is also from the new set, Drajeweled Lancer of Soul Extermination Saga. So this is grade 2 and you get 2 skills. One is if your Vanguard is Drajewed, you get boost, so it's a tanky boost. And when this unit is placed on regular circle during your main phase, you may soul charge 1, choose up to 1 grade 4 card from your hand, review it. You review a card, or if you have a grade 3 or higher Vanguard with Drajewed in its name, choose up to 1 card with a different card name from this unit, and grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from your soul. Go into regular circle, and at the end of the turn, put that back to your soul. So you will be soul charging some key cards. You will be soul charging some random cards. That could be something that you needed, or maybe some units will just go into soul by their own effects and you want to use them again. This is what helps you to pull them back out, and you can just simply put them back into the soul after basically the turn end. So you won't lose your soul quality to use a soul blast, and you get to utilize your soul better as different resources, because with soul charging type decks, what bad about those decks is that you are doing a lot of random soul charging, and the only way you can get them to be useful is to soul blast them, right? But now you can actually pull those units out onto the field, help you out to do different functions. For example, you can pull this back out to do a lot more soul charging, draw cards and such, which can be helpful, right? And can also help you rebuild your board, because it only requires you to soul charge 1, and it's not even mandatory, so it's optional, so you can choose not to soul charge and then bring something back if your deck is very tight, right? So I can see this card being very helpful, which is what I like. Especially usually when I play soul charging decks, I do want cards that can actually pull something out from the soul as useful resources, and it's up to me to pick. So this is a very good card. And then another card that is from previous sets is Demonic Stone Dragon Rokago. So this is basically a must-have in this deck. I tried to dodge it, but then when I look into how to build a deck, I don't see a way that I can actually dodge it. So I basically have every single thing in this deck except this. So this is something that I actually went to buy after I decided I want to make this deck after getting the split. So yeah, you just have to get this card. Now this card can get 10k when this card attacks a very grade 3 or higher unit, and if you have 4 or more different grades in your soul, right? So it's basically plus 10k before you do your soul blast with Drajewel, and after that you will lose to 10k. But then Ignis is plus 15, so you always get to plus 15 still. But this can just simply be a simple 35k beater on your grade 4 turn, and then turn into a 25k beater after your Vanguard Soul Blast, which is still very good because you already drop your opponent's power while you're still kind of gaining quite a bit of power. And this card get to withstand itself by counterblasting one as long as you Soul Blast 4 or more cards at the same time for your Vanguard ability cost. So yeah, it's just beater. So if you have 2, then you can do 5 attacks and 5 scary attacks as long as you can pay the counterblast. If not, we have something else to actually help that to happen, but this is still needed because just 3 attacks is not going to be enough. You need to try to do 4 to 5 attacks. Okay, next I'm running the Purple Jewel Beast, Elmephis. So what this card good is that it gives you a counter charge with the cost of putting 2 cards from a soul or drop that were in the right deck and put them to the right deck face up. The 15k plus shield to become a 20k shield is optional. Sometimes really save your life like this, but I think the counter charge is more important. That you sometimes are really stuck at having enough counterblast to do your plays, especially with this. And sometimes you actually need to use the counterblast for soul charging enough cards in order to get your Vanguard skill off. And while you're missing one counterblast, this gives you the counter charge. But you do need to be careful that it returns 2 cards from your soul or drops onto the right deck. So those cards might be the important parts that you need to soul blast with your Drajewel skill. So make sure you actually do soul charge the substitutes for those cards, or not, you will be having trouble after doing the counter charge, while your main goal is to soul blast enough to turn your opponent's Vanguard to 1 or 0. And yeah, so basically so far what I've been purchasing from previous sets will be 1, 4, so 5, and then the right deck, right? And then we are back to the set again. Now this is something that is helping the deck a lot, whilst Demonic Lording Fapla. So this, when you soul blast 4 or more cards at the same time for the cost of a Vanguard ability, cost puts this unit into your soul, you can draw a card, and then choose up to 1 grade 4 card from your hand, review it if you review a card, or if you have a Drajewel grade 4 Vanguard in its card name, choose one of your regards, and if your regard did not stand by a card ability this turn, stand it. So do make sure you need to activate this first before you activate your Rokugo skill, because you need to fulfill the requirement that you didn't stand anything this turn, or just to avoid any kind of issues you have with your opponents that they might argue, oh, you restand it, you can't use this or whatever. So make sure you always restand with this first, and then if your Rokugo is there, do it. So this increase your soul, draw you a card back, and allow you to do at least 4 attacks, right? And then this will be your 5th. So you just simply boost with it, put it in your soul, and then you can be used with this again, and then do your multiple attacks again. So just helpful, very, very helpful. But I think this can only fits in a grade 4 deck. If you're not running a lot of grade 4s and you're trying to run Drajewel Mask, you probably won't be using this card, because the chances you get your grade 4s in your hand is not that big, so yeah, I probably won't be suggesting to put it there, but some people might try. I will just let them do it because I don't have the cards. Yeah, but it's very important for this deck to actually have every standard, because you can try to put in Enforcer but you don't have a lot of space. This is probably something that you'd rather put in because worst or worst, you can simply just put it out for early rushing because it's a great one and it's a auto skill, is not on place. So yeah, it's just a good card for many different reasons. Okay, and then we have another card from the set, Horde/Drajeweled Kit. When this unit is placed on Vanguard circle, +1 and look at top 7 cards of the deck. Choose up to 1 grade 4 card with Drajewel in its card name. Program them, review it, and add it to your hand and shuffle the deck. If you did not review a card, you can choose to up to 1 grade 4 card from your hand, review it. If you review a card from your hand, or if you already have a grade 4 Drajeweled Vanguard, then you can draw a card. Now, so this is basically a counter +1 look 7 to find the grade 4s that you need for a lot of different reviews, or if you already have one, it's something that helps you to draw a card. So this is something that you always want to see early game to find your pieces, because you do need to review it for a lot of reasons, for this, or even just for writing, or when you have multiples and get multiples and then drop them to use your writer so you can soul charge them in. Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons, and by squeezing down your deck, which means it's a lot easier for you to hit triggers, so I'm running 4 of this. And then what's left is basically just 4 PGs and then 1 Forbido. Forbido because we're running grade 4s, so it's something that just helps us, and it's another grade 3 card that is valuable to us to soul charge in so that we can soul blast it for and count as a different grade card. PG, I'm just using the normal booster PG. If you want to use the Blitz Order, you can, because you sometimes might face a mirror match that can help you, but for me, I just want to make it simple, so I'm just doing that. And then triggers. I'm using the elemental one, the water one, so that I can put the crit to every different units that I want to. Not every one, but at least I can choose what I want to put. With the Dark Sage one, I can only get the 10k and crit to my Vanguard, even though it's basically every single turn. But then when you are in your go-in turn that you pull a OT, you always want to guarantee your crit to be put on something that's more important. It could be the Vanguard, but sometimes it's the Regard that is important because your Vanguard is already got PG'd. Then if you can put the 100 million and the crit to somewhere else, that's great, and you get to pick some key cards up. So I think the water elemental is probably something that is carrying the Dark States as a OT, that you rather use this than any other OTs. Probably you might also want to use the fire elemental one depending on the situation, but I think I like to crit and pick up more. And then crits, I'm running 7 crits, 4 draws and 4 heals. I just make things simple because the basic shield value will do enough, but the draws, I'm not using the 10k draws just because I don't have them. If you have them, put them in, make the total shield value higher, that's what you need. The reason I'm not using the soul crit is because I have a lot of ways to soul charge grade 0s already, and I don't see myself actually playing down the crit on board and put them into soul. I don't see myself doing that. These will always be my shields, so any kind of simple crit will do. Of course, you want to make them fancy, you can do it, but I just want to make it simple, so here we are. but the draws I would suggest you to change in the 10k draws. Heals, if you really want to put in effect heals, you can always change. It's up to you. But if you're asking for just simple trigger type ratio, this is what I do. And remember to change this into 10k draws if you do have, and that's basically it. So in this deck, what you need to just get for yourself is basically the triggers, the water elemental, 4 PGs, Drajeweled Ignis, Rokagu, the cat, and the 4 below. You might see there's a lot of stuff, but then of course triggers, as long as you play a Dark State stacks anywhere, you probably will get these already, right? And then if you don't, then you can just find these pieces quite easily, I guess. This, if you don't have the this OT, you can always use the Dark States one if you want to. You can always use the Elemental one if you want to. It's not as effective, but then the Elemental one can actually help as well, because it's 2 times of the 100 million to any units you want, so it can still turn into something while opponents PG the Vanguard attacks, and those two will just kind of being a guarantee if your opponents don't have PGs, right? So if you really trying to find a budget version, then you can turn this into the normal generic elemental. You can take this out, you can turn this into like a Gungaram, but then the rest, I think you will need to actually get them. The triggers, I don't think that is a problem. The PGs, worst of the worst, you can just get it in using the ones in the starters. And this worst of the worst, you can change it into the starter one. It's not that effective, I would say, because you're kind of losing the counter +1 to draw cards. Yeah, but this is needed, and then the split is needed. Else, and also the right line is needed. Else, I think you can still kind of make it budget if you really want to. I don't suggest you to do that, but if you are like, okay, already planning to spend a lot of money on the split, and I just want to add a few cards in and enjoy the game, then what I would suggest you to do is to get the Drajeweled starter. You get the right line, you get some PGs to use, I remember, probably not the booster one, but at least some PGs. You get a whole set of triggers. Worst case, just use those triggers, because you will also get a generic elemental OT anyway, so you can still use that. And then have to get yourself 4 Rokagu. That's basically it. Yeah, the great one, you can just turn it into something, anything that helps you, right? So what you actually need to pay money for sure, is the split, Rokagu, and then a Drajeweled starter. That's probably just it. Turn this into a Lin or Rin from the starter, then it's kind of like a budget build. So yeah, I hope if you are looking for a budget build, this can actually help you out, because there's not much you can actually change from here. The stuff is actually quite solid, but I think if you are looking for like a winding options and want to gather stuff quick, this is probably your options, because with a lot of other decks you might need to find a lot of pieces from this and there. For example, Bastion, you need to find different grades stuff. For Youth Work, you need to find the Revel dress from different sets. For Leonor, you also need to find stuff from different sets. But this, worst of the worst, you just need 4 Rokagu, 1 DPD Freddy split, and 1 Drajeweled starter. That I think is a lot easier than a lot of different builds where you need to look cards from different sets and trying to gather them together. Yeah, so do try it out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And yeah, subscribe for more deck profiles, deck fights, unboxing videos, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.